Have a great meeting.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike Courtney, and I am here representing the Distance Learning Sections Instruction Committee for our spring webinar. We'd like to thank everyone for attending today. Today's webinar will be on open educational resources in the information literacy classroom. And our guest today, Ruth Story Huffman, will discuss the use of OERs as pedagogy for teaching information literacy. At the end of Ruth's presentation, there will be an activity and a discussion following. And let me give you just a little bit of background for our presenter today. Ruth Story Huffman is Dean of Library Services and the Affordable Learning Georgia Library Coordinator for Georgia Southwestern State University in Americus, Georgia. Ms. Huffman has participated in multiple ALG textbook transformation grants projects, both as a librarian and as an instructor, specializing in LibGuides implementation in the classroom and in locating, evaluating, and using OER content. Just as a reminder, there will be a recording of today's event that will be sent out to the Distance Learning Sections listserv. And without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Ruth Story Huffman.
Thank you, Mike. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah? If not, we'll be okay. I'm really excited to be here today. I will tell y'all that I have had a reoccurrence of bronchitis. A few weeks ago, I went to see my wonderful older son in Kentucky, and I brought bronchitis home. So now it's come back. So if you see me sipping water, you'll know why. Just to give you a little background information, I'm at the James E. Carter Library, which is actually named after Jimmy Carter's father. Jimmy Carter actually lives 10 miles from where we are located in extreme southwest Georgia. You'll see the little star there on my map. And every now and then you'll see him, and he supports my library a lot, and we're very thankful for that. It's a very small university. We have about 3,000 students, but we love what we're doing here at Georgia Southwestern State University. And that's my pitch, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to talk about OER. And OER means Open Educational Resources. And right here you see a definition. And basically it's teaching and learning materials that you may use, reuse without charge. So in other words, we are not reinventing the wheel. Our mantra for OER is retain, reuse, revise, remix. As librarians, we are taught to collaborate. We are taught to share. We are taught how to help others. And by developing OER and sharing OER, what we are doing not only for our students are we not giving them nice, cheap materials, because free is really cheap, but we are helping each other, which is a wonderful, wonderful collaborative effort between librarians throughout the nation. There are many types of OERs. I remember years ago my academic dean talking about the MOOCs. The MOOCs are going to take over. Well, they didn't necessarily take over, but open online courses are a great resource for OER content. There are different textbooks that you can use. A couple of the companies are OpenStax, Sailors. I know the University of North Georgia Press is doing some great publication of OER. And as we work through today's webinar, I'm going to be giving you some different resources and everything, and you'll run across more of these things. MIT has a wonderful place to go, as does Merlot. And I'm very excited right now about Merlot because it's done some wonderful jobs with its search functions, and it's a lot easier to find the information than you could before. One thing that we're doing in our library is my content is available on a LibGuide. And then I'm also reaching out and hosting other courses from other disciplines on those OER or on those LibGuide contents. And it's open, it's out there, it's available for everyone else. The benefits, well, of course, we're looking at free and reduced costs for students. This University System of Georgia has made a concerted effort to provide free and reduced cost materials for students. And now in our university catalogs throughout the University System of Georgia colleges, if you have a course that is free or low cost, and low cost is $40 or under, it is indicated in the course catalog so students can see that. And as a parent of a college student who is about to graduate and go on to graduate school, I do appreciate any free and low cost materials that we can get. Another benefit is relevancy. It's very easy to go in, update these materials because we don't have to depend upon a publisher to update these materials for us. We can do it ourselves. It's very engaging. Our students, as we know, they love the computers. They love their smartphones. I remember last summer we went to Disney, and most of the people we saw that were younger were like this. And they were walking all around, and where were they gazing? At their smartphones. Now, I have mine because I'm timing myself to make sure I don't go over, on this material. But I tell you what, they love it. And so they engage with the online content. It's flexible because I can change it from semester to semester. I came across an assignment that we did this semester in my library information literacy course. It didn't work so well, so we'll kick that out and I'll move in another one very, very easy. And it is available as long as the content you're using does not lose through the website. But as with everything, there are some challenges. Excuse me a minute, I gotta have a drink. By the way, let me find my mug. There it is. Librarians, the original search engines. My son got me that. We have to look at the quality and the legality of our services, of our resources. We all know there's so much information out there that is not real. And we need to look at the sustainability. It's very easy to put it up there, but is it going to be there tomorrow? So we have to keep looking and making sure. A challenge that I have run across on my campus is it is an organizational change for some of my professors. It's like, oh, if it's not coming from a publisher and someone else is making it, how do I know that I can use this? And why would I use this? Well, that's where the trust factor works into. We need to learn to trust. We need to learn to really think about who is the author of this material. Chase it back. Just like we teach our students in information literacy courses to evaluate our resources, and maybe we're using the CRAP test or whatever we are doing, we need to find out who's responsible for what we've got. And it's also sometimes a willingness to share. Not every professor wants to share things. One thing I've learned about librarians is, like I said, we like to collaborate. We like to help each other. And we're going to do that, whereas some of my professors, including sometimes my husband, who is a professor of psychology, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to share that. That's my assignment. Well, you still can contain your ownership of it and share it. And it does take time. I've spent hours doing this. So when we look at OER and information literacy, we are looking at a variety of things. We're looking at open source software, open access, media, textbooks, pedagogy, activities, assignments. And when we do our activity later on in the session, we're going to look at activities and assignments. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, because we're going to hopefully get started on something that you can take with you at the end of this resource webinar. I've thrown in a few content that I have found so nice. This is actually an information literacy textbook. It's from OER Commons. OER Commons is a wonderful resource. Not only do they have textbooks, they have resources, they have definitions, they have everything that you need to get started excuse me, in OER. And this is an information literacy textbook. The wonderful thing about information literacy and with these OER materials is you can pick and choose what you want. Just like if you had a hardback book and you're teaching a course, you may do chapter 7, 10, 13 through 15, whatever. You can do the same here. And the way I work this with my courses is I build my course in D2L. We use D2L, Brightspace. But then I also have the open content on a LibGuide. And I link specifically to the chapter, like identify understanding your information need. If that's something I want my students to read, I can link specifically there right from this textbook, and it's wonderful. They follow a link, there's their content. At the end, there are some URLs that you'll be able to look at that will give you all this information. I also put in the chat a URL where I uploaded this PowerPoint so that you don't have to scribble and make real quick notes or whatever. You will have this information available all in one spot. The State University of New York has done a lot. This is an Information Literacy User's Guide, an open online textbook. Again, I used parts of this textbook too in my course. My course is a 2-hour course. In the state of Georgia, with the University System of Georgia, we have core courses and we have A, B, different areas. And Area B is a university option. Each university can determine what courses they want in their Area B. And about 8 years ago, I was able to get information literacy as a choice in the Area B core concept for the University of Georgia Southwestern State University. Each semester, we have offered 2 to 3 sections of this course. We offer more in the spring than we do in the fall or summer. And we do 2 online and 1 face-to-face. We cap our online at 35. We cap our face-to-face at 30. And they fill up. And I get students begging me, we need to get in, I need to get in, I got to graduate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what we are doing here is, number one, we're getting them in the courses they need. We're teaching them about information. And we don't do the traditional information literacy. We look at it as information and its impact on our lives. And so using these open OER textbooks is another way that we see how information impacts our lives, because this information is right here at our fingertips. So not only are there textbooks available, there are activities, there are assignments, there are assessments. I call them the 3 A's. We have in-class assignments, information as creation process cards, which, as we know, goes along with the framework. In our course, what we did, instead of a final exam, our students have to do a final project. And they did an information as creation in that they had to make a digital portfolio. And their digital portfolio had to include their midterm project, which was a blog about how information impacts their lives as a college student. So we are building this information, and their digital portfolio was designed to either represent what they want to do as their career, or as what they have done as kind of like a show and tell for grad school or a employer. And what we did here is we created information, which is amazing when you think about it, because information is so much fun and it's there. But you also see searching as strategic. The ACRL has a framework, so there's all kinds of information out there for you to go and find. This is Library 1101. A few years ago, I received an Affordable Learning Georgia textbook transformation grant, and I'll tell you about Affordable Learning Georgia here in a little bit. I got this grant to build and design a LibGuide format for Information Literacy Library 1101. The LibGuide you see right here is from last semester when it was a 1-hour course. This semester it became a 2-hour course. So each tab has increased up there, and each tab represents a module, and we would have 2 modules a week and for 15 weeks. So the students would go into D2L, which is our learning management system, and each module would have, each week has a module, and within that module is the link to the specific tab on the subject guide. They could also just go straight to the subject guide if they want, but what they didn't realize at the beginning, even though I told them, because you know how these students are, the assignments were not on the LibGuide, because I had those in the D2L Dropbox, because that I needed it there so that they could keep with it. In spring 17, we did an assessment. We had 93 students in 3 sections. We had 1 face-to-face and 2 online. And almost 93% of our respondents had a positive experience with the OER. The Library 1101 course that we did OER was 4 years ago, and it was one of the first grants that was received by Georgia Southwestern State University to build OER content from Affordable Learning Georgia. This year, in other words, this semester, I got a mini grant which allowed me to update this content to reflect the 2-hour course. And it's wonderful because you get a stipend and you also get resources and money to buy any software. I bought my digital camera that I'm using right now so that I can tape some of my lectures for the students, but it is a wonderful tool, and the students responded, and we filled 93% is pretty positive. We were pretty happy with that. Okay, so Affordable Learning Georgia. The state of Georgia and the University System of Georgia a few years ago developed Affordable Learning Georgia. There is a movement in Georgia called Go Back, Move Ahead, which many of you may have heard of throughout the nation, where we are trying to get people to go back to college, to stay in college, to move ahead in college. And one way that they are doing that is just trying to make learning affordable. And we all know the cost of textbooks, not to mention any books or ebooks or databases that we are trying to purchase in our library. I know each year when I go to budget requests, it's like, I want money, give me money, So the state of Georgia is working to make learning affordable through encouraging the use of open educational resources for textbooks in the state. In our university, in addition to the Library 1101, we've had English OER grants, multiple psychology grants. The psychology department, they took and made every Introduction to Psychology course an open educational resource using an open educational textbook from OpenStax. They run 9 or 10 in the spring and approximately 15 sections in the fall. Excuse me. With about 45 students in each section. And if you look at it and think, okay, maybe a textbook is $90 or $100, that's a lot of money that they are able to save those students. We've had biology, we've had music, we've had education. So there are different departments across campus that are really starting to jump on the OER bandwagon. Another thing that we do on our campus is we have teaching circles where faculty can attend 3 sessions and then they get a small stipend to use for purchase materials for their courses, research books, whatever they want to do to supplement their learning or their research. And this year I ran an OER teaching circle. And we would invite faculty, they could come, and we'd spend 50 minutes talking about how to find OER. We worked on how to do grants, and I worked with them on some grants. And it was just, it's really, really wonderful. And just because it's Affordable Learning Georgia does not mean that we just make it for Georgia. The grants, yes, but the resources that are there, they are available for anyone. Just go in and look. A wonderful thing that it has available is all the grants that have been awarded. And I think we're up to around 11 right now. So we've been doing some really good work in Georgia. And I know throughout the nation, other states are doing it as well. Okay, this is one of the resources. And this is where an OER LibGuide that I made. It's available. And you can go here. It's on my library page. We have currently taken down the home page of our of our LibGuide. So right now what you're going to see is just the long list, but this direct link will work. We're going to spend our summer cleaning out some of the old LibGuides that we have built. We're just kind of doing a little bit of house cleaning. But anyway, the OER LibGuide is available. It has some embedded PowerPoint presentations that I have done for Library Campus, for the Kentucky Library Association last fall, for my faculty. It has resources, OER in the classroom, OpenStack textbooks, Core Commons, etc., etc. Another LibGuide that is specific is for information literacy. I have an information literacy LibGuide, and then there is a section specifically for OER. And it is something where you can go and you can find all these resources. If you come across a resource while you're out wandering around the internets and you said, hey, this is really, really cool, if you want to email it to me, please do. My email is on the first slide. And I'll also put it in the chat here in a little bit. And I would love to add on to this OER LibGuide that I have, because I like to share and I like to take from others and I like to give to others. Now, all right, we're going to do a activity. And what you see right here is an active learning opportunity. And what you have right here is some wonderful, wonderful things that were built that are open educational resources. One thing when you're doing open educational resources is we need to pay attention to, of course, copyright and fair use, etc. So what I always look for is CC BY, CC BY. CC BY is the copyright clearance that says, okay, you know what, I made this, please use it. It's available, it's here. And there's a lovely lady, and I believe her name is Susan, and it's gone, and I'll tell you why. Here's a little aside. I am currently babysitting my grand pug. Yes, pug instead of puppy. He's 9 weeks old. And he woke up at 5 a.m. this morning and thought, oh, let's play with Granny today. And so I've been up since 5 a.m. And I'm a person that I do better with 9 to 10 hours of sleep. So Susan's name is somewhere up here in this gray head of mine, but you will see it when you get in there. Her link is here. But so anyway, that aside, what we're going to do with this active learning opportunity, is in our discussion activity, which I will put up here in a moment. We are going to, okay, Mariel, can somebody remind me, they can see this discussion activity in the file on the bottom left hand of the screen? Can you all see that? Yes, okay. That is a link to the document where you all can work. And in this document are each of these 5, 6 frameworks. And you will have the opportunity to design an open educational resource today, right now. And it's pretty good. It's pretty much laid out for whatever it is you need. And it's currently 12:26. Do you think 10 minutes would work for you all? But what I want you to do is I want you to choose one of the frameworks and perhaps one of the knowledge practices in there, and then go out on the internet and find an open educational resource or activity or assignment or reading that is open, that is available, and can work in the content that you have in the document. And then we were going to come back together and we're going to share. And then, if you want to, after you get this completed, because you may not get it completed, today in our 10 minutes, you can email it to me, and I will combine all the documents together, and then I will share it back out to our 26 members. So if you would like to do that, please email it, and my email is in the chat box there. Please email your document to me, and I'll also, if it's okay with you, put them in the LibGuide so that it is available. So that way we can share, because I always find the best and my favorite thing about any webinar, activity, conference is the sharing. So it's 12:28. We're going to come back in 10 minutes, which would be 12:38. Let's make it 12:40 just to make it easier on me. And then go ahead and do this discussion, and then we're going to share through the chat. If you have any questions while you're working on this, please chat, and I will be watching that chat box. And it is in the lower left-hand corner. It says Files, and then underneath Name it says discussionactivity.docx. Okay? All right, y'all. It's time to play. I'll be right here. Please have fun. Everybody doing okay? If If I could give you all virtual chocolate, I would, so we can pretend that I'm throwing chocolate out at you, because chocolate always makes us work best, right? At least it does for me. I've got mine here. You can look at it and think about it. Maybe that'll help. Marty, please go ahead. Anything that you want to do is great. You don't have to follow the exact format that I have here. I just put that for whatever would work. Does that work for you? Because I love visual literacy. Good. This will be fun to see. Y'all, Marty is using a focus on visual literacy and visual analysis. And she's using for her students a little bit more focused. And please feel free to do that. Because, like I said, I don't do the traditional information literacy course. We do talk about using the OPAC and using databases, but then we also talk about like Web 2.0, we talk about looking at fake news, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So please, that's one of the lovely things about information literacy, because information encompasses so much. You can make it really what you want for your group. So Marty's talking about students with visual literacy skills, but they can't apply them without their guideposts. Marty, when you get a chance, maybe perhaps later when we're discussing, if you could tell us a little about the guideposts that you're talking about. I would love to hear that. Thank you. Just to give you a quick little hint, on the first page of the discussion, you'll all see the CC BY. And you will also see the link for the posters. And you can use those. It's wonderful. And they're built in Canva, C-A-N-V-A, which is a wonderful tool if you need to make any kind of posters, Facebook posts, or anything. I love Canva. I also have a degree, or a master's degree in instructional technology, and I love building these things. And as you see, we're looking at our framework, the knowledge, practice, perhaps our learning objectives, any content that you may have. One of the beauties of OER is taking content you already have and you can flip, redesign, redirect it to focus on a different part. And that is a lovely, lovely thing about OER, is that we can revise it whenever we need. Now we've got about 3 minutes left, but we can go more. If anybody wants more time, please let me know in the chat box and we'll go until about 12:45, okay? If I could sing, I would sing to you all. But my husband tells me I can't sing. But then sometimes, you know, I tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I won't bother you with my singing. Sorry about that, y'all. Does anybody need more time? Either raise your hand or type it in the text box and for the chat. We'll wait a couple minutes, Robin. We've got some good time here. So go ahead. We'll wait about 5 minutes because we've got plenty of time. So the rest of you all, if you're done, just kind of relax or type. Or if you want to, start thinking about ways or what you want to share. Or perhaps if you find a resource that you stumbled across during this quick activity, we would love to share it. Type in the URL, as the chat will be available, I believe, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, what I will do is take all the URLs that are in the chat and put them in a document and send it out with any, any resources that you all send me, activities, assignments that we've done today, and I'll get them to you. Ah, Project Cora. Yes, Michelle writes that she's finally got to go through some activities in Project Cora. And that is a wonderful resource. I think it's in one of my LibGuides as a resource. And she was doing searching as strategic. It looks like it's one that's going to be easy to remix and that they can work with it. Okay, Emily, page not found for the Project Cora link. Is that in my LibGuide? In the chat. Okay. Yeah, that one. Samantha's is working, y'all. Who knows why? You know what? Who knows? So, Project Cora is the community of online research assignments. Lovely place to go and play. And they have a blog, assignments, a teaching toolkit. So it is a great resource for research. And it's using AACLNU, the value, the assessment of learning and undergraduate education. I don't know about you all, but the one that our university uses is that value rubric. Okay, we're starting to get some URLs in here. We have Project Cora, the OER Commons, OKLSI. And if you don't mind, with your URLs and those that have put in some, can you tell us a little bit about what it is you found in there? Like, is it an assignment? Is it a rubric? Is it something that you're going to redo, remix, whatever, so that we can get a little information here maybe on what we are finding through this activity. So it is 12:45, so please let's start sharing some resources, and we're going to talk about these. And as I said, some of these are going to be just new. Some of them we may be familiar with. But again, what counts is that we get this information. Okay, Melania has lost sound. Has anyone else lost sound? No? Okay. It looks, let me type to her. I'm going to back up here. Okay, we have OER Commons. Moo, M-O-U. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Could you just kind of tell us what you found at the OER Commons? It's Pot of Gold Information Literacy Tutorial. Here is a tutorial for searching as strategic exploration, not expiration, excuse me. We don't want to expire our searching techniques, do we? Samantha has something from K-State. If you can let us know what that is, we would love to find it. Marty has our OER Commons Reading Images and Introduction to Visual Literacy. And Marty's also, if you get a chance, Marty, when you do, if you would tell us about, type in about the guideposts that you have for your visual literacy. Samantha tells us the New Literacy Alliance is a consortial curricular project from K-State, the University of Kansas Medical Center. Okay, so what we're seeing here, obviously, is information literacy is not just something that librarians in a public or an academic institution do. It is very important in the healthcare field. Our university is starting a new program this fall called Long-Term Healthcare Management. And I have a 3-hour course in that program called Information Literacy for the Healthcare Provider. And this is a program where students will be taught how to be healthcare providers and administrators. And it's so important, as we all know, for these people to have information literacy skills, and nurses, etc. And with this New Literacy Alliance, you see the Kansas Medical Center with other institutions jumping on this bandwagon. So it's really, really great. And she says it's not just health specific. But you know what? I'm going to go there for when I start building my course that is starting next spring, which I've not done there yet. So I'm glad, Samantha, thank you for finding that. We have the Pot of Gold. It's an interactive web-based tutorial for basic information literacy concepts for first-year students at Notre Dame. As we know, a lot of us do first-year experiences on our campuses, and information literacy is a great thing that if you get in there and within that group, you can do it in many great ways. Okay. Samantha, back to you with a smiley. Any other people that we have sharing? Marty's typing. Oh, she's doing our guideposts, I bet, on visual literacy. Guideposts. When you describe a work of art, what are things to include? Regardless of whether you've done in the past, how would you start to analyze a picture, a building, a sculpture? Oh, interesting. Okay, so when I'm looking at art, I need to look at things just besides what I'm seeing. Okay, how do I see it? With visual literacy, you're also looking possibly at the how and the why. Is that something like that, Marty? Context is often left out. Okay, great. And as we know, that is related very strongly to information literacy, because oftentimes our students take information out of context. And they'll see something and they'll say, oh, well, this works because. Well, it doesn't always work because. They need to put it in the context of what they're looking for, what their topic is, their search, etc., etc., etc. Marty's talking about the historical, economic, political factors that affect the look, in quotation mark, of artwork. Well, we need to sometimes think about the historic, economic, political factors of information that we have. You know, our information it has a value, and we have to converse about it as we see within our framework here. And looking at economic factors or historical factors of our information is one way to critically think about the information that we are seeing. Okay, we've got about 4 minutes before we kind of start to wrap this up. It was in a gen ed class. Ah, cool. We're not all the students, we're arts students. So you're getting all kinds of frameworks and thought about what is going on. Okay, now, excuse me, we have about 3 minutes, and then we're going to start wrapping this up with any general questions that you all may have. So if you've not shared any resources or ideas and you'd like to, please go ahead and do so. They have the skills, Marty says, but they can't apply without the questions being in front of them. That's the challenge. It's a critical thinking thing. Often, okay, for my final project in our information literacy course, which are due tomorrow, by the way, I hope they remember that, they also have to write a reflection paper. Well, what do you want on the reflection paper, Ms. Rue? How long does it have to be, Ms. Rue? What am I supposed to do, Ms. Rue? Even though reflection, to me, is like, well, what did I think about this? And it says that in their assignment, but they still say, Ms. Rue, what do I do? How long do it have to be? Well, that's not the important part to me. I tell them, I want to know what you think about this assignment. How do you think it benefits? How do you think it does not benefit what you've learned this semester? How do you think you'll use it, etc.? I'm trying to get them to think about the information that they're seeing, about the information that they created. And sometimes, like Marty says, that's a challenge. Okay. Any other last call for any resources that we found during the discussion or during the active learning opportunity? And as I said, if you'd like to, later on, if you want to complete the document as it is in the file and email it to me, I will compile all of those and get them out to you. I'm not sure when that will happen. I will do my best, but as I said, the final project's coming in tomorrow. There's 35 of those, in addition to 35 reflection papers. And then I need to do grading and get those grades in by next week so that my students can graduate, because I have a couple seniors in my course. But I promise I will get them to you eventually. Okay. Does anybody have any comments, general questions, anything at all? Oh, don't worry, Beth. Beth was unable to help to complete the assignment because a student stopped by. We need to help our students. That's why we're here. So, Beth, if you want to do it later on, please do, and I'll I'll send it out. Any general questions, comments, anything at all? If you want to learn about 5 a.m., what a pug will do, I'll tell you that too. Please use the chat. How was I able to get my library course to become one of the core courses? Okay, Jenny, that's a good question. I had to go to our Academic Affairs Committee, which right now I'm a member of, and an ex officio. I'm on that committee so that the library knows all new programs, courses, revisions, etc. that are coming through. And so it had to get passed through that committee. Because it was a new course, it also had to be passed by Faculty Senate and General Faculty. And then I had to send it to the University System of Georgia, and it had to be passed by them. And it is a lot of paperwork. I had to develop learning outcomes. I had to have a sample syllabi, different activities, etc. And it was very important. I really wanted to make this available. And I think there are only 2 universities in the state system, and I think we have 26 state universities now. We've done some consolidations, who have information literacy as an Area B course. Because it is a university option, it will transfer anywhere. You know, so our students don't have to worry about, well, if I'm going to take this and I don't want to, what if I want to go somewhere else and maybe major in engineering? You know, we have a 2-3 agreement with Georgia Tech. Yes, it will transfer for them. But if you want to email me directly, Jenny Wright, I will gladly, if you're looking to do that, I will gladly give you any help I can, okay? You're welcome, Jenny. Anybody else have any questions? Anything else? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? One thing we do in my library is we have a Friday night dance party because we close at 3 o'clock on Fridays because my university has very few courses on Fridays, classes. So right now I'm going to do my Wednesday 1 o'clock almost dance party. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate the opportunity to do this for ACRL Distance Learning. I'm so glad that you all came. I hope you got something out of this. If you'd like to, as I said, please send me your completed activities. I'll compile them. I'll send them out. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. I do consulting. I was just in Kentucky doing some site visit. I had the most fun. So if anyone's here from Georgetown College, hey, y'all. All right, thank you. Goodbye from lovely, sunny Georgia, where it's about 75 degrees. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. This will conclude today's webinar. Just as a quick note, we will be sending out a link to the recording of Distance Learning Sections listserv sometime in the upcoming week. Thanks again, and thank you, Rue, very much.
You're welcome. See y'all. Bye-bye, everyone.